Look.
Eh, eh. I love that music, man.
Yeah, we'll wait for some folks to come in. Yeah,
We
that
are
way.
live. We are live. We are live.
Share stream. Copy stream link. Put that in Facebook. Oh man. Let me know. Let me know what you see at the top. You see any numbers change?
Talk.
All right, we got one in here. All right. Wait a little bit longer. How's your weekend?
My weekend was very, 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 very. Kiera said, "That's Kiera that's on." She says, "I'm here." That's my girl.
What up, booby?
She supports us. She supports us. My
She
weekend
better.
was great. Got out for the first time yesterday. Went to the farmers market, and but I think I kind of overdid it a little bit. But
Oh, your knee bothering you a little bit?
got a little swollen on the side, but it's good today. I just put it up and iced it.
We got a stalker. We got a troll.
We got a
Somebody's
troll.
trolling us. Yeah, we got a troll.
Oh, we got a troll. You got to. All we need
Hmm.
is how many said five? All we need is three more, right?
Yeah, it's showing one right now. I guess Kiera left back out. Anyway, see who else. You told Auntie and everybody.
I told them all. Told them all.
Appreciate that, Dad. I know you showing the love. I know you showing the love.
Yep.
Okay, let me go ahead and have this up there. Let's see. Yeah, have this up right here. That's who we talking about today, folks. Gonna expound a little bit more.
The awesome, the great, the goat, Dave Chappelle.
That's right.
The
He
goat.
is. Oh, you think he's the goat?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He is the goat
Okay.
because he's not afraid. He doesn't hold back. He's not afraid. You know.
Okay.
So yeah,
All
he
right.
is the
Well,
greatest of all time.
all right. Well, let's go ahead and get to it. All right, y'all. So today's subject is what you see up there at the top, right up there. We're gonna talk about Dave. 'Cause Dave has a response to the walkout that was going on in Netflix. Over a few hundred employees walked out because of their views and feelings towards Dave Chappelle's last stand up, The Closer, which is on Netflix. I suggest everybody go check it out. I think it's a great stand up. I think it's a better conversation piece uh, than it is, as far as stand up. I think it's a great conversation to have. But after the first stand up, The Closer that he did, um, you know, the internet caught fire. The LGBTQ plus community was going ham on him, and uh, CNN. I don't really too much watch it. I like Flame Monroe. That's what I'm going to show you now. Flame Monroe's response to everything that was going on. All right, so here we go.
You.
I'm doing very well. Thank you for joining us. Listen,
Thank you for having me.
I've watched your Netflix specials and a lot of you on the internet. I haven't gone to your show in person, but I really do want to. So listen, your stand-up can also be seen on Netflix. What do you think? Did the jokes cross the line for you?
Well, see, I have 3 dogs in this fight, so let me start there. I'm black, I am a comedian, and I am transgendered. So I have 3 dogs in this fight, and I want to be fair to each and every one of those platforms. What I heard from Dave Chappelle's latest special was the the overpouring of racism that he talked about, because I understand that he's talked about the transgender community, and some of the things were painful to hear, but funny, because as a comedian, that is our safe place. That is where we are the safest on stage, where we should feel like we should be able to say anything. Nina Simone said it best. How can you be an artist and not speak about the times? He says it in socially inappropriate ways that people say is not politically correct, but it's teachable moments. And there was no lies told. Here's the hypocrisy for me, Don. And I love my community, LGBTQ plus IA, and I'm saying it correctly because I am still a comedian first, but I'm going to be respectful tonight to everyone involved, because I have three dogs in this fight. The love of me as a comedian will always be in me, but I can hide that. The transgender person that I identify as will always be in me, but I can hide that. But the black person in me, I can never hide. I hate the fact that we keep skirting around. So here it is, the hypocrisy. Dave Chappelle gave his friend, his words, his friend who was white and transgender, who wanted to be a comedian, an opportunity to open for him. Dave Chappelle is one of the greatest to do it of our time right now. That was a huge opportunity for her. The LGBT community never reached out to give her any opportunity like that. But then they turned and said that he was transphobic, he was homophobic, all the backlash that he received from 2 or 3 episodes ago from specials. And she stood with her friend, the transgender woman, and stood against Dave to say, no, he's not like that. And the LGBTQIA plus community bashed this woman so bad that she jumped off a building and killed herself. Dave was not responsible for that. So who is?
But
Because
Flame, we
here's
don't
the
know.
thing,
Flame, I have to say, we
Donovan.
don't know exactly why she killed herself. But anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
Her constitution and my constitution are very different. The backlash at me, I'm not going to do that. But here's the thing, who we blaming for that? You're not blaming Dave. Dave gave her an opportunity that the community did not give her.
Mm-hmm.
Bam.
Wow. Wow. Well said.
That is correct. That is
Well
correct.
said.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I totally agree, and I like Flame Monroe. I've seen her. I've seen her on the Breakfast Club
Mhm.
show a few times, and I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of it. But also, what's crazy is that uh how can I say this without being rude? Um, the person who he named by name, Caitlyn Jenner,
Right.
came out with a Twitter post too as well, saying that um, you know, I there's nothing wrong with what he said, and what we have to be aware of is the cancel culture going amok, thinking that they can just silence everybody. You
Right.
know, do
Right.
you want me to get to his response to the LGBTQ plus
Yeah.
demands?
For those that might be on here that don't understand what we're talking about, Dave Chappelle did a stand up called, what was it called? The Closer.
The closer.
The Closer, and it was awesome. And he spoke his truth, and he spoke some good things, and he did bring up some things about the trans community. He told about LGBTQ. He also talked about black folk. He talks about us. He talks about everybody, but he does it in a comedian. He's a comedian. He's a freaking comedian. Okay, so that's what this is all about. And for those who have not seen The Closer, go watch it before you judge.
And that's
Go
what, yeah,
watch it.
and that's what we're gonna get to, because he
Okay.
talks about this. This is what we're gonna get to.
It's been said in the press that I was invited to speak to the transgender employees at Netflix, and I refused. That is not true. If they had invited me, I would have accepted it, although I am confused about what we're speaking about. I said what I said, and boy, I heard what you said. My God, how could I not? You said you want a safe working environment at Netflix. Well, it seems like I'm the only one that can't go to the office anymore.
Well,
I want everyone in this audience to know that even though the media frames this, that it's me versus that community, that is not what it is. Do not blame the LGBTQ community for any of this shit. This has nothing to do with them. It's about corporate interests and what I can say and what I cannot say. For the record, and I need you to know this, everyone I know from that community has been nothing but loving and supporting. So I don't know what all this nonsense is about. In summer 2020, when the whole world shut down, I was outside doing shows. My neighbor had a cornfield, and he let me throw shows there, and people came from all over the country. Some people came from around the world to see those shows. The best comedians on earth came to my home and broke bread with me. And we lived our lives. We found a way to keep moving forward. I made a whole documentary about it. The first night of those shows was a piece that some of you might have seen. It was called 846, and it dealt with the death, the murder of George Floyd. This film that I made was invited to every film festival in the United States, and some of those invitations I accepted. And when this controversy came out about the closer, they began disinviting me from these film festivals. And now, today, not a film company, not a movie studio, not a film festival, nobody will touch this film. Thank God for Ted Sarandos at Netflix. He's the only one that didn't cancel me yet. To the transgender community, I am more than willing to give you an audience, but you will not summon me. I am not bending to anybody's demands. And if you want to meet with me, I'd be more than willing to, but I have some conditions. First of all, you cannot come if you have not watched my special from beginning to end. You must come to a place of my choosing and a time of my choosing. And thirdly, you must admit that Hannah Gadsby is not funny. I desperately want people to see this movie, but I understand why investors would be nervous. Since nobody will touch it, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will make it available for all of you in 10 American cities, going on sale in the next few days. You will be able to see this movie in its entirety, and you can see what they're trying to obstruct you from seeing. And you can judge for yourself, but you cannot have this conversation and exclude my voice from it. That is only fair. You have to answer the question, am I canceled or not? Then let's go. Thank you very much, and good night.
I love that. I love that. because they're talking about. I can't hear you.
Mr. Derek Henshaw, uh, you owe Kathy Sly a mug and a notebook because we're at 6 viewers. Just letting you know. Just letting you know.
No, no, keep the book, keep the mug. Just send some money, money, baby, money.
Yeah.
But
What's up,
anyway,
cuz? Dave can say what he wants because he turned down that 50 mil. He showed everybody money does not rule him. Boycotts and threats don't scare him. 100%,
exactly,
cuz.
exactly,
100%.
exactly.
100%.
It all boils down to the fact that they just want to try to you know shut him up, get him from speaking his truth, and we should all be able to speak our truth, no
That's
matter
right.
what it is. You might not agree with my truth, and that's okay. We all have opinions. We all have opinions.
That's right.
So, but yeah, that's us awesome. But didn't who was that who sent the text messages? And when they were sending all these text messages, they were talking about what it was one of the transgender people was talking about at Netflix was talking bad about Dave Chappelle. Remember? And you found all of those messages that this person was talking about
Oh, the tweets.
Asians.
The
I'm sorry, the
tweets.
tweets, and they were
Yeah.
talking about Asian people really bad.
Yeah, she got exposed for being saying racist remarks towards the Latino and the Hispanic and Asian community.
Right.
Yes, and you
So
haven't
she
heard a peep from her since.
right. So she's going to talk about Dave Chappelle, and I think she did a protest in front of Netflix and
Yeah,
everything.
she was the leader of the walkout.
Right. I forget her name. She's
Yeah,
the leader of the walkout, and she was doing all of this, about Netflix, and she was out there talking all this stuff. And someone did some research and found where she talked bad about Asians. I mean, Asians, uh, um, and some other people. She talked
Hispanics, Mexicans.
Hispanics, right? She talked
Yeah,
really, really bad about them. So
yeah.
she's
She
been.
got
Go ahead.
no. I was just saying she got hit with the Kevin Hart.
Right,
You know. Yeah,
right,
got exposed.
exactly, exactly. Oh my goodness. I love me some Dave Chappelle.
That's right, Jazz. It's
That
too
is true.
sensitive.
That's true. The
It's too
world is so,
sensitive.
you have to be careful what you say. You have to be careful how you say it. What's the thing now talking about being politically correct? Really? Politically
Yes,
correct for who or whom?
and
You know?
also, and also, the add on top of that, guys. I saw a post and it's real. It's not a meme. The LGBTQ plus community is upset about the last Halloween movie because one of Michael Myers killed a gay couple in the beginning.
that
They are upset, and it's real.
is
It
so
is real.
stupid. Where in most movies, black folks the first ones to get killed. Black people the first ones to die in movies.
Shop,
Kevin and I
yeah,
be watching a movie and we'll say, okay, somebody's about to die, and we'll say, okay, that brother right there, he's gone, or that sister, she's gone,
yep.
and
Charlemagne said it the best. Yep. Like we got killed before the lights went off in the theater. You know. Then he said women consistently get killed, but there's no feminist movement against
right,
movies.
right,
You know.
right.
Yeah.
It's
It's
crazy. It's crazy.
so. What did you think about what he had to say when it comes down to issues like gender fact? What is your view on that?
Gender.
Gender facts, meaning that gender is a fact. What you were born, you say if I was like I'm born a man, and if I say I want to be considered a woman, trans woman or whatever,
Mhm.
and I go through all these processes to be identify as a woman, but at the end of the day, nobody can tell me that I'm a man. At the end of the day, it's not a fact that I was born a male, or it's not a fact that this woman was born a female.
Okay. My point is this: until men are able to have babies, I don't care how you change yourself. I don't care what you do. That is something that only a woman can do. And you can change your gender, you can do all of these other things. But the bottom line is that, a woman is a woman and a man is a man. And there's certain things, I don't care what you do, you can't change that.
Yeah, because I like his point that he brought up. He says, everybody look around this whole arena. Everybody in here has come through the legs of a woman. That's a fact.
Exactly.
But they canceled the woman who is the author of the Harry Potter books franchise because she says that gender is a fact. She got canceled.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like, when is enough enough? And it's
Right.
sad that these companies, even though Dave Chappelle could care less, because I mean, like Cuz said, you're talking about a guy who walked away from $50 million,
$50 million,
right?
exactly.
So, but it's sad that these companies don't have don't have the balls to stick by free speech.
They're looking at the money. They're looking at, okay, if what this person said, if it's going to affect their income, if it's going to affect that bottom line, if people are going to stop buying their products because of that, then okay, we got to let you go. You know? And that's why I love the guy, the CEO of Netflix, Ted, I think his name is Sarandos or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He has backed Dave Chappelle. He has not turned his back, and he's with him all the way. And he said he's not going to cancel him. You know,
And
so
I don't understand. And he's being facetious when he says cancel. Like, hey, if this is what
right,
cancel feels like, I love it. He's being facetious. You can't cancel Dave Chappelle.
that's true.
You can't. There's some people that you just can't cancel.
Right, because he
You
has
can't.
he has enough money where he could go out and put on his own shows. He don't need Netflix.
I mean, hence the video that we showed you, him on tour.
Right. He doesn't need any of those platforms. He can do all of this by himself.
Yes, his priorities do not lie
Now,
where you like a
now my
Kevin Hart.
question to you is this: how many other comedians, well-known comedians, do you know would take a stance and do what Dave Chappelle has done?
Richard Pryor.
Yep. I'm living.
Oh, because I sure finna say Paul Mooney. Living. Um, living. Deion Cole.
Okay.
He challenges cancel culture. And his last stand up, he spoke on that.
Okay.
Um, who else could I think of?
What about
Well,
what about
there's some guys, but they're not.
what
Well,
about DL Hughley?
no,
He wouldn't, you don't think?
no.
He's
I don't.
he's kind of a little controversial.
Yeah, but he is where he is, though. Are we talking about somebody at a? Because DL Hughley's, in my opinion, is not somebody considered a high status. That's why I was going. I can name some more names, but you know, uh, he
Okay.
doesn't have any specials out that could. He doesn't have. I mean, he has the radio show, but in my opinion, I think he's changed somewhat, especially when it's come to the COVID situation. I didn't expect that from him. You know,
Yeah.
I think some
Yeah.
people should just choose to be silent.
Right.
You know,
Right.
um, and you don't have to be the voice for everything. And
Exactly.
I think
Yeah.
that a lot of people who are speaking out for it are sounding very ignorant
Yeah.
because you can tell when they're using mainstream media's slogans. You know,
Yeah. What about Bernie Mac? If God bless his soul, if he was alive.
uh, I
Mo, mo,
think Bernie Mac would talk about it. I think Bernie Mac would talk about it in interview settings because that was never really his thing to talk about LGBTQ plus community. I think the only thing that
Right.
he's really ever really talked about that had anything to do with gay was when he was talking about his nephew.
His nephew, right,
Yeah,
right,
but
right,
you know, his and you got to think about it too. Is like you got people like Kevin Hart and Bill Cosby who talk about family, 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 family. So you really can't expect them to incorporate that into their act. That's not what they
right.
do.
That's true. That's
But
true.
you
Yeah.
can speak out on it on your platform
On your
or
platform,
interviews and stuff
and
like that.
right, right.
Right.
But they're not gonna.
Dave,
Kevin Hart's not gonna do that.
yeah. And what Dave Chappelle talked about in his last stand up was he says, if you know me, if you ever watched any of my other stand ups, you will know that my problem has always been with white folks.
Yep, he sure did say that.
Always.
He sure did say that.
He always shows the hypocrisy, the differences of a white person situation and a black person situation.
Right.
You know, he'll talk about how, you know, uh, black folks, somebody will call that somebody broke into their house and it'll be a black man in the house and they'll knock him, they'll shoot him dead. And then they'll say, oh, wow, I've never seen nothing like this.
Yeah.
The nigger broke into the house and hung up pictures of himself, you know, stuff
Yeah.
like that. You know,
Right.
that's what his subject is. So it made perfect sense for him to talk about because he actually talks about things
Exactly.
that go on.
Exactly. Because
You
in
know,
all it, even on his, I think he wasn't Netflix. He was on TV, comedy channel, and
Comedy
he did.
Central.
Yeah, he did clips of on black people. About how we are. So I don't know. I don't understand it. And that's just like your dad brought this up when he was talking with when they called him in and told him he couldn't use a certain word. Was it uh
Nigger.
no, they said he couldn't use faggot or some gay
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
yeah, faggot.
Faggot. And she said, and then he's asked her, he said, well, is it okay for me to say nigger? And she says, well, yeah, it's okay for you to say that. And he's told, he said, I'm not a faggot. She told him, you're not, because you're not gay. And he says, but I'm not a nigger either. But I use that.
That's right.
So it's just crazy. Yep, that's it. So yeah, that's something else. But like I say, and I'll say that Dave Chappelle is one of my greatest of all times
Yeah, because
because
you was calling him the goat. I was like, oof. I mean,
yeah, he's
I
one.
won't argue with nobody who says that, but Richard Pryor to me is still the goat.
Richard, right? I was about to say Richard Pryor is one of my greatest of all times. Bernie Mac and Dave Chappelle. I
Oh,
mean, they are they're the best for me.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Mom's Mabley, yeah.
yeah. Fred, Red Fox would talk about it. I think Red Fox, if he was still alive, Red Fox
Oh
would
yeah,
talk about what Dave Chappelle talk.
Red Fox would.
He wouldn't care. He would go
Yeah,
back to Vegas.
right,
You know, he was good.
right,
But I
exactly.
think that's what because Dad said earthquake too. Yeah, earthquake would too. Um, I I just feel like I expect more from Kevin Hart. You know, I don't want to be one of those people that put the whole world on his shoulders,
Right,
but his
right.
statue and where he is, he has to know that he's in a position to where he can uh, stand for something.
Yeah,
You know, why is Dave
right.
Chappelle talking about Dave Chappelle has talked about that his situation like at least 2 or 3 times about how how the Oscars were snatched away from him because of some old tweets of
That's it.
homophobic slurs.
Right.
Why
And
is
you
this man speaking up for you more than you're speaking
more
up
than
for
you speaking
yourself?
up for yourself. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. You don't hear anything from Kevin Hart. Nothing. Nothing at all.
Sad.
Yep. It is very
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
That was good. That was very good.
All right.
But I have okay, I always got my did you know.
Come on with it.
I got my did you know.
Come on with it.
Uh, uh. Did you know that when high heel shoes, you know what I'm talking about, those high heel shoes that women wear,
Hmm.
right? When high heel shoes first came into fashion in the 10th century, they were intended for men.
Talking about like Prince.
They were intended for men. It wasn't until the 18th century that more women wore high heels than men. They say high-heeled shoes were originally worn by men as early as the 10th century. Many horseback riding cultures wore heels on their boots and on their shoes because heels help you stay in the stirrups. And they said that is why cowboy boots have heels. The Persian cavalry wore high inch heels, and the trend spread to Europe. Since they showed that the wearer owned and maintained horses, high heels became associated with the upper class. Eventually, upper class women began wearing high heels, and then heels became a form of upper and middle class dress throughout the 17th century. They say even Louis the 14th wore heels. And they said he was dressing, because he was an aristocrat or whatever. So he wore high heels. And then heels started to get gendered in their designs. Men's heels grew broad and sturdy, and women's heels became tapered and decorative. That's where they get the really high heels. But yeah, high heels started with men.
So, Dad, you can
Did
get your
you
heels
know
back
that?
out of storage.
Yeah,
Dad,
your
you
dad
can
got
get
platform. Your dad got some platform shoes
yeah,
like this.
yeah. But now, now that one of his legs is bow legged, he got to have one shorter than the
One
other,
short and one long.
so he don't. Yeah, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh, oh.
Yeah. Well, all right, everybody. I appreciate y'all tuning in.
Yes, yes, yes. Please like, share, subscribe.
That's right. I really don't want to have to come to everybody's house and slap
We're
them
on
up.
every Sunday, y'all. Come back.
All right, everybody. Love y'all.
Love you. All right, baby cakes.
All right, Mama. Love you.
Love you too.